Hello everyone, I'm Tamika Weatherspoon. Now we're going to take you to a small town venturing into new territory. For years, researchers have been experimenting with a technology that extends the reach of broadband into rural, hard-to-reach communities. Soon, the town of Thurman could make history. Towns like Thurman, nestled inside the Adirondack Park, are hard to reach.
No, it was right above it.
Thurman's very rural. You cannot buy gas in the town of Thurman. You can't buy a gallon of milk in the town of Thurman. It's very community-oriented, very quiet, peaceful town.
Everyone knows everyone, but in a major way, they're disconnected. Much of the town still uses dial-up or drives to the local town hall Wi-Fi hotspot for internet service.
Without broadband access, little communities like this one aren't going to survive very well. It makes a huge impact on your entire community. Your children can't do their homework assignments, so they're having to choose between sports and getting their homework done, college applications. It affects every aspect of life, how you shop, how you bank, everything. And if it's not something that it's accessible to your community, people aren't going to come or stay in your community.
Like many other New York towns, Thurman is taking initiative, but moving in a direction few have gone before. They're one of the first communities in the country trying to create a residential white space network.
In the Adirondacks, especially in the Adirondack Park, we face a couple of unusual challenges that you don't find elsewhere in the country. For one thing, the Adirondack Park Agency restricts us from building on peaks or ridgelines. So we can't just put a tower on top of some mountain. For another thing, when you do wireless, the existing technologies before the white space technologies would not pass through trees and leaves, which means you could not do wireless networks. So the benefit of the white space is the fact that the signals are much lower frequency and they travel through the trees.
The goal is to transmit high-speed internet to residents using white space, or the unused portions of the analog TV spectrum. It's perfect for rural areas, since they tend to have more open channels than cities. On this day, they're still in the testing phase, determining the best locations to put radios to relay the internet signals across the town.
It's a matter of a relay, bouncing signals from one spot to the next. What we are doing is we are borrowing or renting a space on the fiber from Frontier or Verizon, and we will plug into that. And then we will be extending that and cover a certain radius of houses that will get this. And then within that radius, then we find another spot and we bounce the signal to the next area.
One thing they already have figured out, where to place the heart of the network.
This is the center of Thurman's White Space Project. We're on South Johnsburg Road at the highest point of the road. And along this road is the fiber that we intend to tap into. We have to the right, Frontier's fiber on a pole. We also have Verizon on the very same pole. So we have both carrier diversity and route diversity. Test antenna, the base station, it's mounted actually to a tree, so it's up in the leaves of the tree. And from here we hope to cover the road going to the north, going down to the south, and west out to Garnet Lake.
This town pulled together to procure a grant through the statewide Connect New York Broadband Initiative. Those funds cover the cost of testing and constructing a residential network.
There we go.
Other white space experiments in Virginia and California, for example, were conducted using older models.
It's been tested in a few areas of the country. The FCC has been working on approving it for several years and had done so, I believe it was the end of 2011, in December, they finally approved the use of it. The equipment was not available until early this year. So any trials that were done elsewhere in the country were using first generation equipment from a different vendor. So we're now on second generation equipment, which has much higher capacity.
During the initial town hall meeting to propose the idea of the project, Evelyn says residents showed a lot of interest in the technology.
Usually if you have to do infrastructure, people are very like, don't touch my yard, you have to stay away. And instead we've got people calling up saying, how can I get it at my house? How can I help out? So I think that it's been both wonderful for bringing money into the town, but also fostering community spirit.
We've had businesses close down because they don't have internet, they can't process credit cards, they can't get online. They've actually had people stop their sale to buy a home here when they found out there was no internet. We're hoping that once we get Thurman up and running and everybody else sees what we were able to do, we feel certain that it'll just take off everywhere.
If testing continues according to plan, they're hoping to begin the building of the actual network during the summer, having everything up and running for residents by early autumn. For now similar rural communities, We'll just have to wait and see if Thurman has truly found a way to have both, keeping up with the modern world, without having to sacrifice their natural roots. For Mountain Lake Journal, I'm Tamika Weatherspoon.